Hello everybody, welcome back to Minor Illusion. We're a bunch of us gamers sit down and play some Dungeons and Dragons. We have a full house tonight. I'm blurry. Wow.
'Cause you're a cock.
Take 15 points of psychic
Hold the
damage.
Nope,
Whoa, sorry.
Mm-mm.
I refuse.
Okay,
I've got
go down a
resistance.
level.
No, I refuse.
You kidding? So, a couple of announcements tonight. As usual, a couple of little options down at the bottom. First off is our Discord community is getting bigger. We have now absorbed another group of people in for another game. So another small community is now becoming part of our larger community. We're getting more and more people in our Discord community. You can join too by dropping the link at them below. Join the server, read the rules, react and get your roles, and then go and explore. Take part in conversations, see what people are talking about. It's a little bit sparse-ish, but it's getting there. We're starting to really take off. We also got our sponsor Genki down below, a little browser extension for you guys to install. It allows you to support us through your checkout process through some of many participating stores for free. You support us when you just do your general shops. Go ahead and do that. I'll be very grateful. And also join us for IGP Manager at 7 p.m. on Saturday. There we go, and Sunday, because Sunday Racing League is now officially part of our community as well. So yeah, some little fights on. I'm leading both championships on Saturday 100. I've only won one race out of 14 races. It's amazing how competitive this season was. I think that's everything. We do have in 2 weeks, our 2-year anniversary of live of this campaign.
Woohoo!
2 years. We've still not finished it. All the sandbagging, or just giving you guys so much to do, because we're probably almost a third through it. Probably not. But yeah, let's jump over to Luna. So I'm sure she has something to say.
You say that as though I've prepared for this, which I never blooming do. So I am back, as per usual. I'm assuming this is a plug for the MS Society, otherwise this would be extremely awkward. So go ahead and log on to mssociety.org.uk for more information about the condition, how it makes me a little bit cuckoo in the head, as well as other weird and wonderful things, and get behind research into different treatments and research as to how we can get better and more effective treatment for this. Case in point, maybe a medication that doesn't compromise my immune system and gives me a running nose, which I've now realised is one of the things I forgot to grab before we started, was tissues. So don't worry, I've not developed a nose sugar problem. I do just legitimately have the beginnings of a cold. Hence why I'll be going like this halfway through stream.
What are you doing?
Back to you, Lima.
What are you doing? Me and him finding it out on Twitch chat, and you're sitting there growling at me, and I'm trying to let him. You wanna go?
What are you talking about?
Doom. Try to pick a fight.
What?
I'll spawn 10 Tiamats around you. Okay. Go initiatives.
I thought you were going to give me I thought you were going to give me in trouble for using a euphemism for no snow.
I missed
Party
that
powder.
because Justin thinks he got
You
the first
missed
message.
comedy gold there.
You missed Comedy Gold last week.
Mm.
Someone died and it was funny.
See, I know who died. Just don't know
Did-
how, so I'm looking forward to the recap.
Let's jump into tonight's
Spill
session.
the tea. Tell me.
We need to get through this first. Let's jump into tonight's
No.
session of Dungeons and Dragons with me and these people I put through hell every week. and welcome back. So, last week, with the absence of
Oh,
Luna, this
that's
is going to be
amazing.
very insightful, but the party decided to confront and antagonize this water elemental that seems to emphasize that its ability to be, well, it's basically its presence as a god of some sort. Billaron,
Puny
as his name
god.
is called, after receiving some mocking behavior from a resident trickster, a fight ensued. The party got washed up several times, got a giant ball of ice chucked on top of them, and a character got deleted. A power word death spell.
Power kill.
Power kill, okay.
It was
Same
the only way to get rid of me.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And before you fight liches that have that spell as a free action.
Counter spell. Bye bye.
What kind of spell?
That?
Kind of spell?
I'll have counter spell too.
Do you?
Maybe.
You do pick up as a warlock.
Mm-hmm.
Hurry up and get it.
You can only use it 3 times.
That's enough.
That's why he wants to level up. So we last left off on the beach, didn't we? Or rather the shoreline.
Yeah, we're starting to walk back.
Indeed. So as you head
Yes.
back, the ground itself seems quite dry. But there's an overcast above you. And it looks like it's closer to the afternoon at this time for Mantra's perspective. And your 4 plus familiars that are still around. Speaking of which, fumble at your side, Mantra. And then all of a sudden, you can feel clawed up your side and onto your shoulder.
Wet kitty. A wet pussy.
There goes our
And-
PG rating for the night.
What?
I'll give Silvio a big squeeze. Not enough to kill it.
Make an attack roll.
That is not the intent.
No, make an athletics check, please.
No.
Die, kitty cat.
Why?
Yes, very much a giddy kind of hug.
Giddy.
If I can catch up.
Pop. Ah! Kitty gone.
Why athletics and why not like?
I know, take
acrobatics,
athletics.
Sleight of hand.
Athletics is good.
I only have +3 to that, so 21.
That-
Roll a d4 and add your strength modifier. I'm not being serious, but
I'm
don't
not attacking her.
worry.
I'm squishing.
Hey, he's declared it's non-lethal.
She didn't.
Anyway,
My strength modifier is -1, so
you've got a 1 in 4 chance of killing it.
But like you said, he's taking a piss.
Indeed.
Mhm.
So, you head back to the gloomy village of Sura. What do you guys want to do?
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like always, I
know.
didn't do the talking, and look where we are.
Makes a change.
I wonder
In
what
fact,
it was.
Farm wouldn't even know that shit. Never mind.
No, you won't.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. I wonder what it wished.
Yeah,
That
because
were,
we know
wasn't it?
2 wishes. But 1 wish. Oh well. We'll see.
Mhm.
Eventually.
Hopefully.
Which wish are you talking about? You don't know what one it did.
The very first one, I think.
If Lima, because I counterspelled, no, I dispelled that. Would I know why?
Invulnerability.
That he just cast. He used that to cast invulnerability.
Okay.
Stupid water elemental.
So there was invulnerability, there was kill Van Zandt. How you
Yeah.
feeling, Bailey?
And the other one?
I'm with a teacup, short and spout.
Ah,
Yep.
yes. Oh, the
I-
little teacup.
I wouldn't know it because apparently with the wording of the spell, I don't remember anything while I was in the teacup form.
True polymorph.
Indeed. Mantra, if you're curious, you can do a Arcana check.
Probably not good enough, but 17.
It seems to be quite similar to polymorph, but some sort of change shaping enchantment spell. You're not quite sure.
Yeah.
Oh well. You were a nice little teacup.
Short
Wait,
spout.
what?
Yes,
It was as if it cast a polymorph, but it was weird.
Yes. It was a... Yeah, you
An
were a
enchantment.
teacup.
Well, it just
Don't
feels a
remember.
wee bit surreal, doesn't it?
Okay. Okay.
I
Not really
died,
gonna
he was a
question.
teacup. Oh well. We all have our things.
Shall we see how the town's getting on?
I think that may be wise.
Yes. And
Yeah.
our...
You sure you don't feel any
Cocky-
different at all, Van Zandt?
No. Not at all. Should I?
I can't actually remember the full details of
Other
the
than-
resurrection. So.
Feel a bit sore and weakened, and you feel like you've not had your soul in your body for a few moments. You feel fine.
Yeah, I feel fine. Thanks to the cocky princess. Still gonna get slapped.
I mean,
by
I still stand by what I said. If you heard me.
Yes. But I'm not taking orders from Alve.
I haven't before, so why would I expect you to start now?
Because you told me. You're higher in
Then-
rank, so you can boss me around.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
technically, in a military term, I am a higher rank than you.
I don't care.
No,
See,
you
I
don't,
just-
which is
I'm
why I
still
wouldn't
after-
trust you as far as I could throw you in the heat of battle.
I'm
I
still
know,
after
right?
some proof of your royalty status.
Problem with you being a royal?
I have a problem with not believing you actually are.
Ah well.
Who is doing that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought I had my noise cancelling on.
Clearly not.
Well-
No,
well,
that was what was being cancelled was my hearing subscription.
It's
We
autumn
get
and
it.
we're
You like your
stepping through the
poppadoms
leaves.
in teeny tiny pieces. We don't need to hear you murdering it.
It's fine.
Yes.
It's exactly like them said there. She's just giving sound effects.
Yeah, it's autumn. We're walking through the leaves, crackling.
There we go.
Exactly.
One
And
more.
somewhere in the distance, somebody that can't pay their rent is having every bone in their body crushed meticulously one by one.
Can you hear me just now?
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
What about when I'm crackling there? Was
David,
that
stop.
better?
dude.
David, stop. Try
What?
again, love. We
Nope.
can't hear yours.
Amazingly, that silent design
There
thing.
we go.
This is
Noise cancelling.
walking in leaves.
Those are some very crisp leaves. How is it that you've... sorry, just to deflect a minute. How is it that you have stealth chocolate and the most noisy doner kebab that has ever friggin' bestowed mankind?
Well,
No,
I
it
don't
was a
understand this
chocolate.
combination.
There was a chocolate that was noisy as I opened it, but I didn't have
Ah.
the noise cancelling on.
Noisy donor. Meat.
noisy donut.
Yes, the crunchiest doner meat known to man.
Uh-huh.
And Mantra, why wouldn't you believe me? I'm a royal.
I mean, when have you ever acted it?
No. Hear him out. He does behave a wee bit like royalty. Has to have his
Same
own
You
way.
mean selfish and entitled?
Veins.
Same as
I'd
our
say.
little princess.
That's why you two don't
Danza,
get
make
along
a deception
too
check.
similar.
Deception check.
Wait, what did Tim say
Is
there?
it
Call himself a royal.
I am fucking royal. 20.
Can I
Passive
insight?
Passive insight only.
I would just like to take this opportunity to mutter under my breath a real pain in the arse.
Okay. Passive insight 23.
Not entirely truthful.
But it is, so.
You're a lord, not a prince.
I'm royal. That's enough. Never said I was a prince. Just
What
said I was
lineage?
royal. What?
It belongs to a prominent house, but
Where's your
he's...
lineage? Like,
But I am a prince.
also, when I've seen you eating, you don't use all of the cutlery, which led me to believe that you grew up in a commoner's house.
Well, I didn't grow up. I partially grew up in the
Oh,
commoner's
you
house.
fell up? Okay.
Hmm?
You
I
said
was
you didn't grow up,
raised-
so you must have fell
No.
up.
No. When I was a wee little baby, I was brought to the Temple of Bahamut. And there I got my education, so...
I understand it now. I get it.
I'm gonna stab her, won't I?
I know what you mean. Which is regrettable.
Hmm?
You must have been abandoned as a child.
No, I wasn't abandoned.
I mean, that's what I get told as well, but does that mean I believe it? Come on, you
Well-
got dropped off as a kid at the temple.
Yes.
Abandoned. Parents didn't
No.
want to raise you, so they just went, here, take him.
It was with an entire escort that was with me.
Yes, they can make a big show about it, but it's the same as when someone sends their kids to private school. It's because they don't want to see them for 8 months.
It was that or be killed in battle. As a wee little, since my father was destroying the Scourge, I couldn't be around. So, what better place to be than in a temple?
See, while this is all going on, can I just make an illusion, using minor illusion, behind Mantra, looking as if it's just a wee stick figure digging a deeper and deeper hole?
Yeah, done it.
I mean,
Just keep
I,
digging.
I would believe that you're a royal as much as if I was to turn around and say I'm a royal.
Well, I have proof I am. And you?
So do I. You only get
mean-
this far mark in here if you're part of a royal lineage.
Yeah, keep telling yourself
Do I
that,
get to roll
mantra.
deception?
Yeah,
on
roll
that one?
deception.
Can I roll to check that since one of my previous comrades was a tabaxi?
Yeah, go
On
on,
you
make
go.
an insight check.
Yes.
32.
Can I roll insight on
How
this,
the
or am I
fuck
need-
did you get 32? I only got 25.
Can I roll insight on this, or you want me to go with?
Since
ask
there's
my
an
gun?
active pissing contest right now, go ahead.
Okay.
Pissing contest.
He rolled high, but his insight score is just not that high enough. He's gonna wish he was on his monk. His monk might have beaten it.
No, my insight on this character is higher.
Ooh.
My insight on this is a plus 13.
We can beat you. I might look at gun flap.
31.
Oh,
I was close. I was
So-
close.
Alvor, you're perplexed. Farron,
Do I remember
Okay,
seeing the
but you're so
mark on the other
suspicious about that
tabaxi?
claim. You don't.
You can say
You accept it, but
you
you
can
don't
say what
quite
you
believe
want.
it. Such a claim needs further
And
investigation.
you wouldn't have saw that mark on the other one because it's just a random birthmark that Mantra has.
Yeah, but how
I have
fun
an
would it have
actual-
been?
I have an actual signet ring, so
Why would you need a ring if you have a pattern on your fur that only the royals have?
what? A pattern on your fur?
Yes.
Doubt. So
Did you not
only
know you
royal.
can tell the family lines of some tabaxi based on their fur patterns?
No, not possible.
Do it yourself.
See, by this
I will.
logic, if we're going by this logic, Toto is king of the wild beasts for having the biggest
Yeah.
fangs I've ever seen on a living creature.
I was actually using genuine logic from like actual animals, as you can tell that they were related based on their fur patterns. So
Yeah, but at this point, like, I
there's
think
some
Alvar's
truth
just.
to it.
Yeah, but at this point, Alvar's just like, how the fuck did we get on this tangent?
But anyway,
As we're walking back to the village, but
as I was saying, Van Vance, you may have a rank within it, but I do not believe you were royal. I do not believe you had privileged upbringing.
Well, I didn't get any privileged upbringing. I was brought up like any other one person that was being in the Temple of Bahamut. I wasn't treated like royal. I was just a normal guy, like anybody else. Not getting any more benefits because I am from royal.
And now you want that special treatment in spades that you've missed out on. That's why you're throwing a hissy fit whenever you can.
I wonder what your dad would say. And to see her sitting on top of the cart.
Who's
My
that?
dad?
Mm-hmm.
Who's dad?
Maybe.
Who's dad?
You found his body for me, I can revive him.
Yeah.
He might come back as a goblin though.
He'll be back, so
goblin.
goblin or not.
Is there a
Yeah,
common-
I've not got a
common-
good track record with my reincarnate.
I swear you have something in your pocket or something. There must be an outside influence.
Because that
Probably
one time I
weather.
got drunk with your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because of the amount of times that you line the body with gold?
Do you have an agreement with Ababoto or something?
His goblin army? Certainly.
That I knew it. I knew there was a shortage of goblins.
Oh, there's plenty of them northwest of... northeast of Glanasari.
Yeah, but when have you known him to actually get along with other goblins?
Quite well, actually.
Mm.
Let's
I
go.
suppose
Anything
any goblins that aren't actually related to him then. crafty old bastard that way.
Didn't he have 2 grandchildren?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Wonder what happened to them.
Well, Cashran.
I say that when I remember I spent a good time around them. Fuck. I'm trying to block out that memory.
Wait, what? That was you?
What?
Were you the ones getting off of Cashran and Wart in the... in
No!
that cabin?
I was prisoner! Remember?
Oh. Sorry, I'm getting my wires crossed there.
You just look at her face right now, it's absolutely mortified. Is that... You've actually gotten a blueness starting to form on her face. Gross!
No shame in it. I happened to be a goblin for a while, if you remember.
All too well. Like, you
I
think
got
that was
my
scarring
whole
for you, it was
friendship
scarring for
points.
me.
In what way was that scarring for you?
Just watch this beautiful chick suddenly turn into a greeny, warty goblin with jagged teeth. If I killed
I
you.
did not have...
And then,
I did not have warts.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
We never told you.
liver spots, but yeah.
I was
On your-
tempted.
On your back.
I was tempted at times when you were sleeping just to, cauterize them and drop them off.
Yeah, and yet I still...
I would have been doing everyone a favour.
And yet people still threw me coin for lap dances. So,
Yeah.
who's the loser
You're
out
doing
of
lap
that?
dancing again?
No.
Some people have weird things.
Yeah. Drunk people.
And you gotta capitalise on it when you can. The best part of that was I was absolutely freaking wasted.
Yes.
And yet there was still high demand for it afterwards.
How's your memory, Oliver?
A little bit patchy here and there, why do you ask?
I'm not saying a single word.
Why?
I promise not to say it.
I will make Toto lick you within an inch of your life in pursuit of gravy and meats.
She looks at Vanza for
Can
a second.
I
I am
roll
not
an
saying a
insight?
word. Looks back
Okay,
at
then.
Vanza.
I just look at Toto and tell Toto, go give kisses, go lick.
She grabs him, holds him, and cuddles him. And he just turns to take him, she just starts scratching him.
Oh.
God damn
Yeah,
it.
do that in the- He just see his foot grinding into the ground, and then kick up some dust.
You have a lot of power of that wolf.
I've spent a lot of time when I was traveling over with this guy.
You're a traitor, you'll do anything for tummy scratches.
Yep. Seems like it.
Well.
Oh well.
Hungry?
Always.
Just skips and
So
walks
anything
into the inn.
Okay then.
Do we see any action going around before we go in?
Make a perception check.
Can I join in on that as well?
Yeah, if you're curious, look around.
Sure.
Perception.
13.
12.
Just some people moving some carts around, nothing out of the ordinary. Visibility is starting to get a little bit lower at the moment, but it seems quite fun.
Unnatural 20.
For you see a bit further, you see people coming in, a couple of people being stopped by guards, and then eventually some coins being handed over, and continue through the town.
I don't trust those guards.
Other conditions believe that there's a false god demanding gold in exchange for water.
Yeah. Oh well. Let's get inside.
And you just come in and you
Right.
find he's sitting at a table. Who's on the first round?
I'm not drinking.
I'll go up and I'll order. Well, what do we have actually? So, like, as I'm walking up, do I see any drinks hanging around?
Joints. As in joint of meat,
What?
like a ham hog.
I said drinks.
I heard joints.
No, drinks.
I think fuck.
Drink.
I suppose if I saw any drinks sitting around.
You see a few small kegs sitting on the back shelving area, some glasses and mugs. And you see this tiefling look over to you, Mantra, and goes, "Uh-huh. Did you what?"
Got anything good? 5 pints?
Just some ale. Not much supplies running through here at the moment. Most of my imports came from Dosh, and since all the farmers fled, we've got nothing coming in. So that's all that's left. Till we get some from the north.
5 pints of ale.
Alright. 10 silver.
There you go.
Thank you.
Do you have any? You say you have your farmers fled. Does that mean you won't have any sort of milk or anything from my familiars?
I've
We don't
got
normally eat,
some
but I like to
aged
spoil it.
meat. Yeah, we haven't been fishing in a long time. We're
Right,
trying to
aged,
grow,
is it
but
still edible?
harvest has happened, and between the soldiers coming by and taking as much of the harvest as they could to help feed their soldiers, it's not much for us. Town will be abandoned if Balaran doesn't give us, doesn't allow those crops to grow. But he's a good person. He has helped us for the last couple of seasons.
Well, Mantra, care to explain?
No, I'll take the 5 pints and I'll go back to the table.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Pint for everyone,
Mhm.
and I'll dish them all out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anybody take a drink?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, roll a gun check for your
Here's
first
to
half.
surviving, and I'll do a cheers into the middle of the table.
Cheers.
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 And then take this wig.
Say 16 for me.
Safe.
Was next to Vanzand, yeah?
Are we within 10 feet of Vanzan?
Only if you're adjacent to.
I think we are.
Only 2 people can gain for the
No, no, no.
benefit.
10 feet. 10 feet is massive.
Alright, okay. Well, let's say the whole table for now.
The whole table.
I need an on and off switch for that.
So it's a con, you said, yeah?
Con, yeah.
So, 14.
14 save. Anybody else?
Farron's gonna make it look like he's drinking, but he's not. He's just gonna go,
Dance into drinking?
I'm not drinking.
You're a paladin. You can effectively drink all you want and pretty much not get drunk.
I know. I'm just
Oh,
waiting for everybody else to get drunk first.
You're rather robotic.
your
Mhm.
mace
Very.
went again, bud.
I know.
9?
no. Dooms.
Dooms.
I'm just waiting for everybody else to get drunk first.
What? I can't understand you.
Yeah, you're a bit robotic there.
your mic's
He
went
said
again,
he's
sorry.
waiting for everyone else to get drunk first.
Yeah.
So, about half the mugs have been drank. Just so you're aware, actually, you know what? I'll just do it this way. You're not going to drink that. I'll do that to. I'll do that to emphasise your head. The voice in your head told you. You're not going to drink that. So I'm sure
No.
thirsty.
That sounds like a you problem.
You know, I'm just going to get something out of the fridge. You suddenly hear something creak open and a rattle of glass. You hear something take off the glass and you hear thump. You hear. That's what you hear in your head for some reason. You're not sure why. Ah, that's refreshing. To try one, it's great.
He just probably has like a confused. That's probably just what he's thinking right now. Like, what the fuck?
First time drinking? First time drinking?
Not that I remember.
Keep going, you'll grow on you. Get some hairs
No.
in your chest.
I think that's pretty much impossible.
Nah, truthfully, you hear someone pouring a keg in your head and then drinking it. It's what popped in my head at the time, and I realised what I was saying. That doesn't make sense, but I'll keep going since I rolled that dice. But fourth wall. Not the best I've ever had. Drinks again. Oh.
So anything happened while we were away?
What are you asking?
Not just napped. A few people took an interest in the car and just walked on.
You seem to like. You seem to like sitting in the cat form in your car.
Oh, it's inconspicuous.
So you're like, well, a lot of travellers will travel with a cat so that they can help them.
Or I could have been a local cat that found somewhere comfy to sleep.
Guess that works.
Just hear the kind of shit that me and your dad got up to when I was in the cat form. He used to send me on scouting missions all the time.
What do you mean?
Oh, this one time we tried to break this guy out of jail, so I had to go in and find keys, take it to them. That didn't go to plan, and then your dad had to punch the wall out. He broke his hand. I had to heal it.
That
He
sounds about
he punched it
right.
again. It broke that second time. But yeah.
Because I know I have once sent Sylvia on a scout mission. That's Sylvia, by the way. And she did quite well.
So, I was thinking. I think the best route we would take. We're gonna have to get around Dosh, around Koloff City. I think maybe go through the southern side of the suburbs. Being the fields probably be too dangerous because we'll be seen easier. But if we dodge between the streets, we might be able to use all the cover available. But to get there, I would suppose when this opens up, we head to Rhine next. and then to Octon, and then in Braun.
Okay.
All is good.
And then we'll get to the city, and then
I know some of the streets around Koloff.
being playing things myself. It's a shame.
I've had to sneak through plenty of times as well.
Yeah. It's a shame though. If
It's a
they're
nice place.
if their lineage didn't die, I'm sure they might be able to fend them off the undead a little bit longer. But whoever killed them, that general or that person that killed them, the king and the heir.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, whoever killed them, that general. I don't know what they're thinking.
Should be hung.
It should be hung, you see. Why is
Yes.
But he was drawn and quartered as far as I'm aware. Quite surprising that he professed into his death that he wasn't him.
Well, I mean, maybe he was telling the truth. You never know if someone plane shifted out of here.
Why? Looks at you for menacingly.
Huh?
With a 13 insight.
Do I get to roll a deception against that?
Depends what you say.
With my plus 12. I'm just saying, like, you never know if someone's telling the truth or not when they're kind of saying that they're innocent. Did you ever get a paladin to use a circle of truth on him?
Do you have Circle of Truth?
Or zone of truth?
We play Truth or
Yes.
Dare.
We can.
Yeah, go for it. I know what she's after.
Another
let's
round.
go for there.
We're gonna get fucked.
You are.
Nope.
Okay.
Gonna bring out make that but 5 mugs each. Every time you don't.
Oh, jeez.
Are you mad?
What?
Have we got rooms here for the night first before we start this?
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to need to secure a bed and maybe a bucket for the night.
Ah.
What was truth or dare? 4 rooms tonight.
How many?
4.
4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Aren't we with 5?
Yes, but we're going
There
for
are no
truth
rooms
or
here.
dare, are we not?
There are rooms in Ravenna, but not here.
No
This is
rooms?
not an inn.
Too bad.
Makes it more fun then. That means we can all walk while absolutely hammered.
But you walk.
I just look down and go, Toto, you're the designated driver tonight.
And looks at you. Benson, how long does your spell last for?
Truth or dare then?
It's, well, not for long, because I don't have it prepared.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay, we'll play
well, that's
bullshit.
a real shame.
We'll play
Bullshit.
the
What's
string
that?
game. Basically, you tell a story, and you can either tell a truthful one or a false one. And if someone says it's not true, and it isn't true, then you got a drink. If someone says it's not true, but it is true, then that person has to take a drink that said it was a lie.
Okay.
Okay, explain the rules again. 'Cause
So-
that sounded weird.
You tell a story.
Tell a
if
story.
someone says bullshit, the person that says bullshit was incorrect, we take a drink. If you were talking bullshit, then you take a drink because you got caught.
That's fair.
I think that was summarised.
Can we not make it an easier game and just do one card brag?
There was this one time in band camp.
Bullshit, you don't
But
play
I mean,
it.
what about the people that pretend for telling the truth or that pretend they're lying when they're not? Surely bullshit is relying too much on someone's own ethos.
That's why you asked
Yeah.
the question. So I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay then.
Farron, where did you come from?
Fuck.
You came from fuck, I guess that makes sense.
Mhm.
Probably.
Never seen it on a map, but I can believe that.
I came from a rune, from what I can remember.
Uh-huh.
A rune in a desert.
In the desert, you say?
Yes.
When?
In the year
I give them the rough time scale. I don't remember off the top of my head how long it would have been, but
The undead are crawling in the desert. What do you mean?
exactly what I said.
I want to say bullshit, but I'm a bit more intrigued. Okay. Farron, your turn.
Van Zandt,
No.
why are you being so uptight with the rest of the group right now?
Oh, to hell. Why you an asshole, Van Zandt?
Because the little princess is cocky as hell, thinking she's all that. She hasn't done anything to prove her title, for one. For second, Guy, you promoted from new guy to guy. I still don't know you. Mandra has a tail. And Elvivor, it's Elvivor. Says enough.
I mean, that's blatantly racist.
Hold on a minute, hold on.
That's
I'll-
my answer.
Alvivor being Alvivor, I'll accept that, but Mantra has a tail. What's the annoying thing about
I'm going
her
to say
having a tail?
bullshit. I'm going to say bullshit. That's not.
Yeah,
the
that was
reason.
very bullshit because it was so vague that he didn't even give you a straight answer.
Uh-huh.
Well, it wasn't.
Is it because the tail goes twitchy twitchy?
No.
Sometimes I can't control it, but still, I'm going to call bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
it's
take a
definitely
drink,
bullshit
Van Zandt.
because you can't just hate somebody because of a tail.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
what you think.
It means he's hiding something.
You like
Definitely.
your dragon.
I'm gonna believe him.
Your dragon has a tail.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
don't hate
Yeah.
that.
Your gods
fair
have a
enough,
tail.
then.
Yes, so?
Is it because hers is a furry, fluffy tail and other tails are scaly?
Is it because of that time I turned around and wiped my tail across your face?
No.
If it's just being a fluffy tail, then why don't you have a problem with Toto?
He looks at you
Only
with a
Only
very
one
judgmental
question.
face.
Then why are you not having your pint?
I'm not drinking. Told you.
You know, your dad was a good drinker. He knew how
Good for my
to.
dad.
Your dad was a good charmer.
I'm not my dad. I'm my own person.
If I
Oh,
may
okay.
turn
He's
the
definitely your
tides,
better.
if I may turn the tides of questioning, How do you know that his dad's a good drinker and a good charmer?
Because I used to work with him, travel with him, do stuff with him.
Yeah,
We killed
sure.
things
Work
with
with him.
each other.
I totally believe that it was all work related.
My dad does what he does. I do what I do.
So Vans, technically your turn,
But
but
he's
I
not
would.
drinking.
Well, technically your turn now, Vans, and
I need to ask a question. Princess,
Huh?
look at you.
yes?
Just click.
Why are you always so cocky?
I'm just recovering from a psychological horrifying event or episode I have had to endure for 2 years.
And that's your answer.
Indeed. I had a awful spell on me called a feeble
You're something
mind.
boring.
Yeah, I'm about to ask Alvor something.
Hmm?
Alvor, how many times did you
Yeah.
sleep with Aaron Bracken?
What?
How many times did you sleep with Aaron Bracken?
0. Why would you think? Why would you think that I slept with Aaron Bracken?
I know better.
What do you mean you know better?
Can I answer this?
If you're insinuating what I think you're insinuating, this is going to end very fucking badly.
Well, you two look alike. She looks at Van Zandt.
I'm sorry. Are you implying that in some weird, twisted way, Van Zandt is biologically mine? Because I think I would remember. I'll go ahead and y'all just lift up my shirt casually up to the breast point and just be like, because if I gave birth to that, where's the stretch marks?
Magic.
Bullshit, drink your pint.
I don't have to because I didn't call your answers bullshit because I know that's the truth. I just love fucking with you.
You're the devil, you know that.
What's
You're
your
the
turn?
devil incarnate.
Boy, oh boy.
Mantra?
All of the coconut water. Yes?
You know that time that we got pissed on Troll Piss?
Yes.
She spits a drink out. What?
Oh, do tell.
That's a story for another time. You can use
Well,
that as ammunition
I-
later for your next line of questioning.
I briefly remember.
Well, you remember how you ended up in the wardrobe?
Yes.
Do you not remember that it was Tetsu that put you up there? You secretly
Actually, I do not
liked it, didn't
remember
you?
falling asleep.
You secretly liked being on top of the wardrobe, didn't you?
But going by the fact that there was claw marks all the way up, I'm pretty sure Tetsu didn't, because Tetsu would have had claw marks across his face if he did.
Yeah, but you remember how he does that prestidigitation and healing stuff, right?
But no, I was wearing the gauntlets. These claws would have been a lot stronger.
Yeah, so do you not think that it's a wee bit weird how the fact that your stronger scratches with the gauntlets didn't match up with the damage that was on the wardrobe?
Don't understand what you're getting at.
I'm telling you, he tucked you into bed on top of the wardrobe and you enjoyed it.
I mean, I do like sleeping in a higher spot.
I feel like
Ha ha! Yes! You admit it!
I sleep on top of trees, but I was not conscious at the time, so, or at least I don't remember it.
Nevertheless, so you've admitted that you like sleeping on top of the wardrobe. I'll just drink my... I don't even need you to call bullshit or anything. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink triumphantly.
I mean, you forget to mention all of the scratches up the side of the building, so I'd imagine I probably made my own way up there.
And now, to be fair, you still escaped and you still robbed a fisherman of his equipment and scared the bejesus out of half of the town. It was when you got into the room that Tetsu intervened and put you to bed on top of the wardrobe.
I think I went out naked as well.
Yeah, you did. That's why you stole the fisherman's equipment.
Well, Mantra. That's
Alright.
two do you go for?
Nice.
I'm being targeted
You were
tonight.
around a lot when I was growing up as well.
Mhm.
What? What was that, sorry?
She says she feels targeted. Ignore that statement.
You were around a lot when I was growing up. What's the story as to why Demiantis raised me?
Are we going to get to hear stories of kitten mantra? Because I'm looking forward to this.
Not a clue. And she just takes a drink and just downs it.
Aww. I was hoping to see baby portraits.
Not my story to give.
Aw, hello, Star.
Mantra,
Max?
are you a virgin?
Yes?
Bullshit.
That was way too fast.
What was too fast?
I mean,
They didn't.
But I don't know.
Why? I heard you were spotted going into the Silver Wand.
Mm.
Yes? But I don't know.
Bullshit.
I could kind of believe it. Like,
I don't know
Never
if it
seen-
counts.
With Van Zandt.
With Fanzan? Hell no.
No, you went inside together. Nick's already told me what happened to him.
Yeah, but
His bottom, I heard his bottom
with
was
what
nice
happened,
and red.
I don't know if it counts.
Oh yes, I liked it.
okay.
I might have went in and I wasn't fully sure what was going on. And this very dominant appearing yeah, I don't know if this all counts and I don't know what I should be saying. Fuck it, and I take my drink.
Well, all yours.
Oh god.
I mean, to be fair, I totally believe you told me that you were asexual.
Did you say that in game?
Yep.
I'll take it as if you did. Oh, I'm not ace. Definitely not ace.
Never seen you make a legal move or have any form of attraction to another living thing.
Didn't she used to
If I'm-
date that diplomat?
It doesn't mean to say that it was a sexual relationship. To be perfectly honest, I don't question whether or not you like anybody.
No,
that
I
wants
know
to try to
Sylvia.
cuddle.
I know Sylvia when she's younger. She would have grinded. Never mind. Enough of that. It's your question.
Oh, you're a brave girl, insinuating that.
Hey, I know from experience.
I'll prove it. You know what? I'll prove I'm not ace.
So yeah, Mantra, your go.
you're really the subject's gone to this area, and I don't know if it's ready to leave that part. Vanzant,
Yes?
when we first met, why did you try keep staring at me or trying to catch me naked?
Never
She's
seen
got
your
her mug
kind
up and
naked.
Nisi's just sitting here with a mug just sipping away, but you can see her eyes like piercing right towards between you two.
In fairness, I think I know the reason for that. Because he's a creep.
Sounds like
Stab
it.
you in your sleep.
I mean, I was tempted. Like, I was planning a few times. I was really tempted to accidentally drop a towel after a bath, but cast minor illusion to make something really disturbed looking there.
Well, truth be told, I never seen your kind naked, so
You're kind. Yet you hate me because I have a tail.
The man works in mysterious ways.
indeed.
He's curious of the fur. What can he say?
I want to touch the fur.
Is this,
So
your way
high.
is this why you're angry about Mantra having a tail? Because you secretly want to pet the kitty tail?
Only
But
one
knowing
question.
that
Sorry. So,
I'm now convinced.
Guy. I'm a paladin. What are you?
I'm a sorcerer.
And
Simple as that.
No, you're a necromancer. Tell him that. You know he's as he wants.
There may be types of magic that I specialize in, but that'd be telling.
I think it'd be more fun to play Truth or Dare, especially if I have another pint and I grab another one down it.
that's the point of this game.
Do we need con rolls?
Always con roll twice per pint.
Okay, then.
Are you actually drinking this time?
So I got
I fuck it.
In that case, belated one for me, that's a 10.
That's a fail.
a 25 and 25?
No,
No, that was for me.
And a 20.
That's fine.
And I finished my other drink as well, so holy fuck. That is 29.
I'm just rolling these because I've probably drank enough already throughout this. Not
How
saying
much?
that I'm drinking in mine, but not 20 for 26 and 22.
Alvar is inebriated at level
Yeah.
1.
This game's getting a bit boring. I mean, we could start heading over and try to get somewhere to rest.
Yeah.
Or we can try a game of Truth or Dare. We don't need a Ring of Peace. Sorry, Circle of Truth or Ring of Truth or whatever it's called.
I'm quite good at telling when people are lying, so
Yeah. Alright then, Baron. Point out if you see someone lying.
I'll do.
Okay, question is who
Mantra's
goes
also
first?
confident that she can bluff her way through even his inspections. You know what? Since we've given Farron a job, and Farron was the next one to ask a question anyway. Farron, you choose someone and ask them Truth or Dare.
Who do I want to with?
Actually, Would You Rather could be fun.
Yeah, true, but then how do you make that into a drink penalty?
He's gonna look towards Alvivor.
Of course.
Hey, I've already asked fucking Vanzad something, and I think this is actually my second time. Okay, so truth or dare
People are
then?
avoiding you.
Mm-hmm. Against my better judgment, dare.
Fuck.
Damn it.
Shit.
I have no fear, do your fucking worst.
Go drink an extra 2
Beast.
pints.
Oh fuck.
Here, the rolls.
4.
Okay. Yep. 14,
Success.
11,
Fail.
11 again,
Fail.
Oh.
15.
Fail. She drinks one.
Oh no.
Gluck, 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 gluck. She puts it down and goes, oh. And you slowly start to see the bubbles starting to pop. You feel a bit lightheaded as you are level 4 inebriation.
Uh-oh.
Done.
Hiccup.
You get to ask someone else now.
Okay. Vanzand,
Yes.
dare or truth?
Truth.
Hmm.
Time is up. Sorry.
No, that's not how it works. I'm actually struggling to think of a question.
I've got one for you if you want it.
Yes.
No. It's not your turn.
He said that in her mind. Telepathically.
Oh.
Ask him
Don't
why has he
forget.
been so... What is it he's been trying to say to you lot since I've met yous?
What have you been trying to tell us this whole time?
Ah, my little escapade to the other moon.
Yes. What happened on the moon?
What happened? Oh, you finally are interested in it.
To be fair, we did ask you before, but you're being a
interested
little bit of
for-
an ass.
I've been interested before, but I figured something bad happened, and that's why you didn't want to talk about it. But now I'm pissed, and I've absolutely no
No
filter.
morals.
Exactly. I'm steaming, and I want to hear a story. So tell me what happened on the moon.
Well, I was on the other moon. I saw this moon planet where we are on now.
You're on the planet.
I saw a
But
lot.
yeah.
I saw a big black spot above Mercador. Interesting. I saw Tiamat also there. That was fun.
Was he nice in person?
Yes. Very.
What do you mean you saw Tiamat?
Yes, I saw Tiamat. I rescued the golden dragon, and I saw Tiamat over there.
Was he nice to
She
you
was-
because you rescued the golden dragon?
Not really.
What one's
She said
Tiamat
something.
again?
Tiamat's the big fuck off one. I'm trying to maintain the drunk. I don't give a damn. And then have
Tiamat
the shocked
is
Pikachu face when I
the-
sober up.
Tiamat's
the mother of all
Tiamat's
chromatic
the
dragons.
double one, right?
She
She's
is
the evil one.
sister of Tiamat. That's it, of Bahamut. Bahamut and Tiamat are at war.
Can I
But you,
roll a history check to see if I remember who
Go
that
ahead.
is?
it was just a dream, right? It was just a vision.
Nope. It all felt
I
real.
thought Tiamat's meant to be dead, right?
Tiamat is definitely dead. Except, well, maybe her soul's back on Avranus, but
22.
Right, maybe I'm wrong. Tiamat's the
You
one with the 5
do-
dragon heads, right?
yes.
Yes.
You do remember a story about a dragon that used to rule the most of the northern side of Austral, that plagued the lands, and her chromatic dragons reigned terror. Eventually she was put down. That's all you remember.
I ask one more question in my drunk state before I sober up too much. Which of Tiamat's heads is your favourite? You know, so there's 5 to pick from. Is there one that's more friendly or more smiling than the others?
Nope. Cut off. Those are the best heads for her. She's coming back, that's for sure.
Coming back? I thought you said you saw her.
I saw her over there. But there's a person in...
She was actually in the material web, or was she projecting herself?
She was projecting herself.
Right,
Meaning she's around.
Can I, just because I've been asked to make sure people are telling the truth, can I insight this?
Yeah, go ahead. Make a persuasion check, Van Zandt.
Persuasion check. Persuasion.
His charisma versus my insight.
28.
Mine is higher. I rolled an 18 on the die plus 13.
31.
You both feel that there's more to the story. Feel that there is more to the story, but that's it. As far as I said. He said he rescued a golden dragon who was in the clutches of Tiamat. At least a manifestation. Leo.
Farron seems a bit concerned the fact that he knows of Tiamat in the past.
Promptly leaves the tavern, stumbling a little bit. She heads out to the south of the village.
Where are you going?
I'll follow.
Yeah,
Is the game over?
No, but Princess thinks so, so we better follow.
I'm following.
She's running
You can continue, I'm following.
out, and she just looks around briefly, and she runs over there, and she throws her hand against a tree, closes her eyes, and begins to cast Commune with Nature.
I just stumble along behind
You
and
hear
just...
those who can speak it, Elvish, so everybody.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you should have Elvish. You live in Lalaria. Elven's the primary language there.
Yeah, I have Elvish.
Has the mother of the evil dragons returned? Please tell me, and what of the prisoner that lies beneath the justice of Bahamut? She seems to be concentrating, and there is a bit of a panic in her voice.
And I shout to her, I already told emissaries to tell something is going on over there.
I'm just going to sit down next to her. Crossed legs.
Revna.
Ah, yes. Ravna again.
What? That's that woman. Wasn't it? She turns around and looks at you. She holds the blade, the Tiamat's claw.
Fun.
She's bringing it to him.
So fun. Ah. But it's the most secure place on Earth. So.
I would recommend you head there after your escort with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you will need to head to Ilaria, and you might have to cross the desert.
Fun times.
Or you can take the boat.
We should have killed a bitch when we had a chance.
Don't you have a tree on the other side we can walk through?
I've never been to Ilaria.
Well, walking it is then. Or boat.
I tend to be traveling with you to Ilaria. I have work to do at home. Some of which will help me set in motion.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie to you. And she stands up and looks at you and goes, when things go down, you need to leave as fast as you can. I'm not saying the tree, I said leave the entire country. Because they'll be looking for you. And they will kill you. You'll find it very hard to kill me because I'm the
Well,
only
can you-
royal bloodline remaining.
Tell you
Okay.
where, and
Can you get us as far as possible? 2 or 3?
wait,
tried.
wait. Sorry. You said when things go down. Are you referring to
My
the
mother.
mission that we're doing as part of the escort?
Yeah, my mother.
Yes. Maybe we should delay it. Surely there's a diplomatic approach. I mean,
She tried to have her
I-
own daughter. She killed my other 2 sisters.
okay. Maybe there's a way of not.
And she
raising
killed my 2 sisters,
concern
and she
immediately.
tried to basically put me through what she did. She had clenching her fists, and she goes, "She's going to die by my hands."
I agree she's to die. I agree she's to be removed from any position of power. However, I don't want to just show up to have to run away. I do have some ulterior mission.
It'll be difficult
Nothing
enough to
going
get
south.
you near the tree, let alone see Silvio.
She's my wife.
And you know what's happening there. Not even the ambassadors from other nations are allowed in this city capital anymore. You're going in quietly.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but if there's a chance, not to detriment the mission, but if there's a chance, don't look for me, Fisnikov.
She turns around and she faces north and she looks towards the desert that she can barely see just in the far hills, probably about 30 miles northeast of where you are. You can't. You shouldn't.
Then I cast message on her and say, I have a scroll that I am prepared to use on her. And the resources.
She's there. Maybe. We'll see.
But if I was to go through with it, you knew her, the rest of the party did not. And I think I might need all the help I can get. She's been in a grave for a while. That one I said without message, but Vanzand, you're just hearing that Mantra's wanting to raise someone from a grave. You're just like...
Here we go again. We'll see.
If we can get there, we will, and we'll help you to perform the ritual. But please bear in mind, you will not, in the current administration, be able to step anywhere near it.
Here's an idea. Hey. Sorry, dog was scratching around right here. Here's an idea. This scroll would still work in the future. So if we are successful in the mission, and then you end up getting to royalty, would you allow me in?
Of course. You're my
and you
niece.
wouldn't do anything.
Of course you'll be allowed in your family.
Yes. And you wouldn't do anything to her body if it's still preserved.
As long as it has indicated the point it's not usable. And as long this could take a long time.
Especially for
There will be a
eggs.
civil war in Glanasari. I have my followers, I have my sympathizers, all of which think I'm dead. And if I challenge her on the steps of the throne and the tree, there'll be hell to pay. Empress or not, she committed a heinous crime. I just wish we got there sooner.
Did you hear back from the plants?
Yes, Tiamat's bones have not been found, but they did speak of the claw of Tiamat moving northward. And the only person I know that was obsessed on bringing her back to this plane was Leonardo's, who accidentally killed Alvor.
Okay.
Accidentally on purpose, let the record state that properly.
It's not his. It wasn't his fault then. But what happened that day changed him, and we had to lock him away forever. The spawns, the creatures that you've been fighting, we fought one. Drove Leo insane. And yeah.
Oh.
What?
So the plan is, the plan, I guess, would be that we finish our current mission, and then we go kill Leon Donardus.
Yep.
We can't break him out if he's dead.
If they're able to free him inside the prison, he'll be able to escape. Do you even have permission to even approach the Citadel?
Nope,
She just looks at Vazad.
not right now, not yet.
I am from the Temple of Bahamut, so
Doesn't mean you have permission. Have you been given your right to enter? You don't have that.
I'll take my right to enter.
You may have to break your way in.
I'm not gonna break my way in. I'm just gonna tell them
When is a
Who I am?
will is a way.
what I am, who I know, and what this sword stands for that I'm carrying. That should be enough.
I mean, in fairness, we never have permission to go anywhere. So,
Kind of slightly leaning behind Van Zandt, so not to sit in front of him, even if it involves using the paladin as a distraction.
Well, let's do this problem, then we'll send you north. I'll try and secure safe passage. If not, there is a cave to the west of the tree. That will take you all the way out to the desert. Might even be behind the front lines of the parish front.
Nice.
Would you be able to help travelers via plants?
This is the
after you
thing.
get in?
That's what I've been struggling with, which doesn't make sense. I have some very specific trees that I'm familiar with that utilize me to do that. That within Glanasari, I couldn't connect to any of them.
Probably burned down, chopped down.
Be
Yeah,
very
but
unusual
can
for
we
that to
not
happen.
Get familiar with a tree outside of Galanasari. Well, here's
No.
a thought. You helped us plant one of the trees in our manor. Are you able to commune with that one?
Too young, too small. Needs to be big enough for you to enter it. But if you head to
Question.
Ocean Bell and then head northwest, there's a cave in the mountains that'll take you all the way into the Dwarven ruins. The city itself is sealed, but there is passageways through the city that don't allow you to enter the main city itself. Probably best to not wake the dragon in there.
Another
Question.
dragon? No.
Question though.
So,
What if the tree on the other side at the manor didn't have to be huge? What if we shrunk?
It doesn't
Would that
matter.
work?
Sorry, no. I'm going to reword what I said there. Once you go through the underpass or take the mountain pass through the caves, you'll come out to a city called Galdur, which is on the coast, which is many miles south east of Bracken. You would have to pass the Wang Tea city near Bracken. But I don't know what the 100 days movements are there. And if you get past Bracken City, you can continue northward to the Dragon Graveyard or Keldor City, and then fight away across the ocean. If we can't give you a ship
Well,
or boat
let's not worry
from
about after mission yet.
First things first, getting you safely there. And then we'll see what
See,
happens
talking
next.
with the plants, are you able to talk to one at the manor? Does it still stand?
not from here. Right now, I spoke to Seldarine. I got some interesting thoughts, and when I asked him about Leo, I had a lot of fear given to me. It's through interpretation. Your words are not clear, but I asked some very specific things.
Sorry to go back a wee bit, but you said you have been fighting creatures. What kind of creatures is it you have been fighting?
Denizens of the Far Realm.
I'm gonna look towards Mantra, Vanzand, and Elvivor because they would have seen what I summoned earlier that day. Anything like those?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Looks you with a stare. Is there more?
I've got a spell that can help summon things.
Well, that's a terrifying spell.
I don't know necessarily what they are, but they go away after a wee while. I think the spell's called Summon Aberration.
Oh, you have that power. Well, that's mortifying to know. That you can summon them, and you can control them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where did you say you were from?
I wonder what would happen if you met.
I don't know. Like if someone has some sort of ability to read minds and unlock memories, that would be much welcome. I don't know.
I can slap you on the head.
You do that and I won't be happy.
But maybe you get some memories back.
I do wonder what would happen if you came across one of those aberrations in the wild.
I know I can talk to them.
You can talk to them.
Yeah,
Not just your summoned one, you can talk to them.
I know I can talk to the ones I summon. He just starts speaking in deep speech, and is just saying a few phrases, and then swaps back to common.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Like I've told you, if you ask a question, I'll try and answer. I can't say for definite I'm going to be able to give an answer, but I'll try my damnedest.
See if you saw a lost puppy in the streets. What would you do?
It's more than likely got an owner, and it'll probably find its way back to the owner.
Are we going back
You
to
would do
playing
nothing.
Truth or Dare?
No,
'Cause
no.
I'm mildly
I'm
confused
trying
about where
to-
that question came from.
Checking its moral standards.
Yes.
Okay, carry
You're
on
not,
then.
you can't just ask someone if they're good or evil, but you can ask a random moral question and see what happens.
I wouldn't say that I'm evil or anything. I don't actively go out and try and harm people.
Here, I've got a good
You
one
wouldn't
then.
pick. You wouldn't pick the puppy. You would.
No.
You would just do nothing.
Well, here we go.
and
I've
assume
got a
it
good,
would go back on its own accord.
I've got a good test of
You go
character.
Alpha.
So, you find a coin purse in the middle of a street. In front of you is somebody that seems to be looking for something. On the left is a charity collection, and on the right is a merchant with a very, very lucrative item. Which of the three options do you choose to do with the coin purse? Return it to what you think is the owner, donate it to charity, or spend the money on yourself?
Depends. How wealthy does the owner look?
That doesn't matter. They're clearly
Th-
looking
that-
for something that they've dropped.
That would specify what I do.
Okay. If I
You
was the owner.
seem-
If you look wealthy enough, which you've been talking about manners and all that shit. If I happen to come across that purse, then it might magically make its way into a donation. I don't need it. I never said I was
Yeah.
lawful. That's a
If
different story.
Alpha was the owner.
Bit more likely to give it back.
What if I was the owner?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Sassy's a joke.
Yeah, since you're saying you're
Mhm.
a prince, when I know you're not saying the full story, because I'm good at telling when people are not telling whole truths. Yeah, that would get into the donation pile easily. Not to be an ass about it, but there's probably more needy people needing it.
True. Ass.
If it's any consolation, the reasons why I was talking about table etiquettes and manners is for some of my missions I had to infiltrate very fancy households.
Hmm.
You know some of those missions, niece.
No,
I think.
no, not really. No, some things.
Demiant does not share everything.
It's called compartmentalization.
True.
If I get captured again, I can't spill secrets.
Like what? Oh, yeah. Okay. Niece,
St-
do you know how to encode one's thoughts?
No.
Oh. I would have shown you a memory.
Don't look at me, I can only read them. I am not wasting a second level spell slot advance and saying titties, titties, titties.
Besides, it takes some of the mystique out of it if you mutter under your breath what you're thinking, Van Zandt.
Just a bit.
More titties, more titties.
That's still not doing it right. And
Are you
So
able
we
to detect thoughts, Niece?
Hmm?
Are you able to, do you know the spell detect thoughts?
No.
Okay.
But it
As
is.
Farron looking at me funnily as if going, I want to know what that thought is.
Oh, he's intrigued. But he's not going to pry.
Because as soon as I see Farron cast a spell, I will cast encode thoughts, because I'm sure Lima knows what thought is at your tip of Mantra's mind just now.
Mm-hmm.
Titties, titties.
Just where I could just subtle spell it so you don't see shit.
True.
But no, I'm not going to be an ass.
So we
Because
still need a
Mantra's
place to
aware
sleep.
of it, Farron can do some mind reading spells. So she just like,
He has openly said it. What were you going to say there, dude?
Well, we still need a place to sleep. Still haven't found it.
but we hit the roads.
yeah,
The roads.
let's find somewhere to turn
We still
in
have a
for the
couple of
night.
pints at we still have a couple of pints at the table, do we not?
You think they're still there after we ran
True.
outside?
Let's poke our heads in, find out.
Okay.
Sleepy DM, are we still there?
Mm-hmm.
Our drinks
Okay,
been
and the
tampered
drinks are
with
still
as well.
there. The thief of the bars is staring at you all and says, "You gonna finish that?"
Yeah, that's why we came back in. Sorry, some
Yes.
travel news. Had to comfort one of my friends.
Okay. Just gets back to wiping down her bar.
So, do we finish this game off? Or do we hit the roads? We still
Well,
have a
it's
couple of pints left.
Getting a little bit late.
Mhm.
Well, it's afternoon. We can travel, but we're traveling for the darkness.
Yeah.
Mir had this cool spell. It's a really cool spell that we used to have, where we just basically have really comfy beds no matter where we went.
Ooh.
Do you have that?
No.
Yeah.
What? Really?
Oh, I don't know that magic. I can't know something I don't know.
We used to have
Tiny
somebody that
huts.
knew tiny hut.
I'll tell you how it's crap. I'm on top of it. This is so cool.
Like, I think I know what spell you're talking about, but yeah, no,
There's
I
a
don't.
grand mansion as well.
Yeah, they mention.
Yeah,
Fortress.
I don't know that.
Back to Milga it is then.
Does he actively say that out loud?
No. Thinking that.
Okay.
Magnificent mansion.
Sounds like a fun spell.
Yeah, the
I mean,
jacuzzi was so
Never
good.
wondered why I was annoyed at Tiny Hut.
Do you have tiny
It's
hut?
like, if you're going to conjure a magical abode.
Does
if
anybody
it's
have tiny hut?
worthwhile? No.
Nope.
Yep.
Oh boy.
As much as I've practiced some magic, I am not the best.
I can polymorph, I can do all different shit, but that's one of the few things I cannot do.
Do we just ride into the night?
Well, we could always rest here for the rest of the day and then set out on a fresh day, especially since some of us are a bit more inebriated. Not saying that was necessarily caused by me, but it might be better if we're all cognitive, all our brains are working properly.
Yes.
I've had a couple of pints, but I think I'm still sober.
You see Bantra. Absolutely fine.
Well, you're talking for you, but Alpha is looking a little bit.
Yeah, but that's standard Alphaville. She just gets drunk really quickly and then just floods with it.
I detest that statement, but it is true.
Farron just puts the rest of his cup in front of her.
She loves to drink, really. So, like, we could stay here all night, but I'm pretty sure we'll get kicked out at a certain time in the morning.
No, this is 24-hour club.
Oh,
Pub. We'll stay
Problem
here, sit
solved.
in the chairs. Just be mindful. A lot of people coming in and out of this town. Might pitch something from your bags.
That won't be an issue. I'll be keeping an eye on it anyway. The advantage of never needing to sleep. Never get tired.
and I put my head down. Okay then.
Gosh, this is too small to read like this.
And I start sleeping.
I think I can give us somewhere safe to sleep.
Nice.
Really?
Oh, yeah, well.
In a tree, I guess.
Something like that.
I mean, you got a plant growth thing back, but I don't think that gives someone somewhere cozy to
I haven't used it before because we always used to use tower, a mansion thing. It's called Druid Grove.
Druid Grove.
What does that do?
It's a nice little grove for us to protect us.
Oh, is that that other place that we went to once?
No, I create a little.
When,
It's like that barrier spell you refer to, tiny hut, but better.
Okay. Okay.
Lead the way.
Because I was going to ask if it was like that place where we saw Fia's familiar.
Fia, I keep hearing this name.
Fia was traveling with us, but we still need to get her back. I believe Malone has her.
So we could travel if you wish, but it's probably gonna get harder from this point on.
I'd rather
Yeah, me
get
too.
some rest.
Okay.
Okay, let's go by the water lake where we were earlier. We'll set up a grove there in the forest clearing near it. And she
Mantra
runs off in that direction.
before leaving.
And I follow.
Farron's following as well.
So, we're going to take a break. And
so 16 and 19.
you con saving a few drinks.
Yeah, I said she downed a pint, so it was a 16 and a 19.
Both fail.
2 points of inebriation.
Yep.
A 19 failed?
16
The
failed.
19 was only because Vanzan started moving away and I left the circle.
Well, the 16 failed. Your 19 would have failed. That was rolled first. The 19 then did fail.
Welcome to the drunk zone. We've got fun and games.
So, what we'll do is
Oh,
take
she's
a little
doing
break,
it for a
guys,
reason.
and we'll be back in quarter past. See you soon. And welcome back.
I see
So,
you, Lucky.
yep,
What?
see the looky behind him. Lying there, sniffing, ears perched, listening, waiting for that famous word. Chicken.
Uh-huh.
There you say chicken.
Oh, what a charmed life she leads.
Chicken isn't going to do much.
Oh, you gotta say it with
Wait.
inflection and more
But
energy.
she's sleeping.
Hmm.
No.
Oh, ooh. Hard week. Right. So,
So yeah,
down your drinks, and those who have
let's
followed.
follow. Let's you were making the
Indeed,
thing.
she is. So who is arriving?
I would probably say, how big is this thing? Because we've got the cart there as well. We don't exactly want that stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did someone bring the cart?
Farron will go try. Keyword there,
He'll
try.
manage.
Mm-hmm.
He'll manage.
What do you want me to roll to try and get the cart there?
Just
Because I
lead
know
them. You can do ammo handling or land vehicle check.
animal handling without animal handling. That is 21.
Okay. Yep, they seem to be willingly follow you. And just follow you. Click, 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 click. Okay. And she just waits for you to arrive. And she takes the staff of bullets off her back, and then she puts the top end to the ground and begins walking and begins drawing a 90-foot cube.
Nice.
And you see this green energy begin to flourish through the ground. And she's chanting, speaking in Druidic.
God damn you, Doom. You started the yarded chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I resisted.
And all of a
know.
sudden, you see this green
That's nice.
energy suddenly begin to lift a fog that begins thicken and grow outward from the trail. And then all of a sudden, you see these little vines suddenly sprout out and just seem to outline the entire perimeter of the fog. And she comes her way around, and then she brings it up and she throws one tree, a second tree, and a third tree, and behind the fourth tree. All of a sudden, you hear these crackling, bending, lumbering sounds, and then all of a sudden, suddenly, four Trents begin to animate from these trees. And then she goes, throws one hand in one
You
direction
sure this protects the
and
crew
brings up
from
a.
above as well?
All of a sudden, these big spines of thorns sprout and shoot from the ground, like big twining thorns, big enough, but larger and sharper than a greatsword. begin to go from the perimeter, and then you feel a slight breeze of wind at one side as well. Mir, you can't enter unless you say that word. This is good for 24 hours.
Cool.
Mir?
Mir's the password.
Okay.
Back at the camp.
Fun.
So it's not as big, but so as they mentioned, but it'll do. So, slight food area with.
I walk in and
Says anything that can get through, nothing you see through the fog. Don't step on them; they will grab you. And watch out for the walls
Okay.
on that side because that is towards the dead side, towards the dosh. So under most likely to come from that direction. And the only way out is through there, which has a wind wall.
Wim wall.
Oh yeah, makes you say Mir. Otherwise, you're getting absolutely flung.
Okay. I'll just stay inside.
Mir. I walk in.
Mir.
What do I see on the inside?
Let's just say it's a 50-foot long wall, 15 feet high, and a foot thick. When you go near it, you must make a strength saving throw, or you take 3d8 bludgeoning damage, and unable to pass through it.
Yeah, I was saying, what do we see on the inside?
Just
Mir.
basically the same clearing as before. You
I'll
see,
just sleep in the middle.
says pick up the camps, get your tents down.
Good idea. Where are my... I'll just put myself down. Oop.
I turn around to Nice and go, so, have you got a sleeping bag with you?
I don't sleep. You know this.
Well, that's a bit roll.
Yeah, but if you want some warmth for space and mine. And I casually set down mine.
Smirks. And she walks around you.
That was
I'll
going
just
to be
stick
the
it.
question. What was her reaction?
Finds out is taking out his bedroll. It's gonna be nice and comfy here.
Farron's just going to be getting wood together and just getting a camp bonfire set up using crate bonfire.
Awesome. I don't have that. But what she does do is nothing because she doesn't have that.
Oh, I'll help you with the fire as well. I'll say a few words, and then suddenly my unseen servant is away collecting firewood and stuff for you.
Thank you.
You don't see it, obviously, so you just saw me say a few words and I go, that should do it. You should have some firewood arriving soon.
And he's looking straight up to the sky. Still clouded. I hope you've got tents.
Can't you put a roof
It's
on
like
this?
got to rain.
No. I'm not building structure, I'm building defences.
But yes, Nice.
Okay.
Nice. The vest doesn't protect us from above then.
That's what the big boys are for. If we got attacked by undead, we have
Doing by the big boys.
opportunity to get away unless it's an overwhelming number. But first ones that would ever get into us will be grabbed by the vines and they'll be held in place, and obviously gives us a chance to take them out.
What if Malorn was to fly down?
Maloran.
Is it Malorn?
Yeah, Maloran
I
is
might
red,
have a
but
wrong
she's
name in my
questioning you.
head. I mean, the clerics, evil, kind of celebrates chaotic evil and death. Wants the dragon's back.
Yeah, they're all the same.
No idea.
We'll survive.
She begins. Throws out her hands, and then all of a sudden her eyes turn blue, and she just looks around. Doesn't see anything of interest, but you can see her, as you've seen it before, looks like detect magic. And then she
You're looking
twists the
for
hands,
anyone's
and all of a
cry.
sudden green eyes appear. And she goes, "Don't sit near that. Poisonous. Well, oh, we'll give you a nasty itch. A very nasty one."
Farron just stays clear of that area.
Mantra.
Well, you and Farron don't need to sleep, yeah?
She walks over to you. Okay.
Up.
Puts her hand on your chest, and she casts Lesser Restoration. There we go. You had some sort of infection.
What was up?
You had an infection.
An infection?
Mm-hmm. I've seen it before.
The only wound that I recall having that wasn't going away was the aftermath of the arrows of Baal.
It's called Melting Fury. It's usually caused from contact with undead.
Contact with undead.
Mm-hmm.
What undead?
The undead that touched you the other night. She'll say everyone else
I
seems to
don't
be
really
fine.
remember that.
We hit. But it's one of the undead that night.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Welcome.
But yeah, you and Tetsu don't really, sorry, not Tetsu, you and
all
Farron
good.
don't really need to sleep. So, are you able to take turns while meditating?
You're fine. Everybody can get a good rest. We'll be given plenty of warning.
Okay, and I put my head down and I start to sleep.
And I'll lie down and I'll lift one side, still kind of gesturing.
Is
don't
anybody
want some
sleeping in a
warmth?
tent tonight?
Good.
Yeah, he's gonna be sitting in this tent just watching out.
Yeah.
But I don't have a tent with me.
You can share farms if you want. Don't know if you like him enough for it.
I
Spencer,
recall,
as
I
you
recall
lie
getting
there,
one
all
at
of a
one point
sudden,
early on, but I don't.
you feel a drip hit your face.
I
Another
just put my
one.
shield above my head to grow my hair.
My tent
Oh,
is a
well.
2-person tent, so if someone wants to share it, feel free.
So's
Says,
mine, but
Pheasant, you
Denise hasn't
definitely need to
taken
be in
a
a
hint.
tent because it's going to be a thunderstorm. That shield is going to act like a beacon more than a defense.
I'll just hug a tree then.
Last chance, Denise.
Just
Poking
ponder
my
this for a
head out.
moment. Okay, what runs in? Still stay safe, Vanzad?
Yep. Not with the shield, but I'll poke the tree. Big guy.
They're outside the perimeter.
Stupid big tree. Yeah, I'll just stay outside. I'll manage.
You wearing your armor or are you taking it off?
It's off. I'm not gonna sleep with my armor.
Yeah, I was going to say, you definitely want to do that. Definitely feel, however, the rain is definitely picking up quite heavily. And then you see off to the long distance a flash of white. A flash of white, another white. Then, all of a sudden, faint rumble. And a heavier rumble, a louder rumble. And then, very faintly, with your passive perception, you hear this faint roar. Familiar yet strange.
Oh well. I'll survive. I hope.
While everyone's resting and shit, Farron is just staying awake, watching out, but he is trying to, with memories so far that he's remembered, he's seen a lot of people with families and such, so he's trying to think of even trying to remember who his family was, or even just a name.
Go ahead and make a history check.
That's high. 22.
No.
I'll use my feature that I've got that where is it? Allows me to roll a d6. Knowledge from the past allows me to add a d6. That's 28, and I got a 6 on it.
Okay. No faces come to memory, but you do remember a street. Golden sunlight, autumn, with a few bronze and brown leaves littering the ground. A nice beautiful walkway. Faceless people walking around you. Faceless not because they are, faceless because you don't remember. The armors, different creatures of different kinds, dragonborn, elves, humans, many different people. You're walking and you hold a book in your hand. Can't make out the text. And that's all you remember.
Okay. Can't make out the book writing due to being bloody, or
It doesn't look like it has text. It has something, but you just can't make it out. You don't understand it. Again, it's as if you just don't remember.
okay.
Any obscured thought of or imagery or lettering or etc. would be merely from a lack of memory, or one that's restrained or kept from you.
Go.
Did Alphaville have a tent?
Got a bedroll.
Same as me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is still a space in mine open.
Only if you can accommodate the wolf as well.
Well, to be fair, Farron isn't exactly going to be lying in the bed, so there's technically space there for both. He's just sitting watching outside.
Yeah, fair point. Thanks very much, bud.
You're welcome.
So
Go
at this
ahead.
point, the rain is heavy. Visibility even within the grove, and he's just filled up his beginning to dwindle. There's still some light behind the clouds, but it's coming to evening, and to this point, it's becoming harder and harder and harder to see.
Okay. Then.
Well, you know,
Fine,
one tent has an elf, a wolf, and an Asimir, and the other tent has a tabaxi and an elf.
Elves are in high demand, what can we say?
So, Fanzan, what's your con modifier?
My con modifier plus 14.
Plus 4.
Is that?
No, that's your score. Modifiers are the plus amounts you add to your ability checks.
Con plus 3.
Plus 3, okay. As the rain is coming down, it does feel quite cold. And after 3 minutes, you begin to shiver a little bit. Do you still persist to staying outside?
Yes. There's
Okay.
a fire burning, so.
That fire is waning.
Bad fire. It's magical fire. No?
Nope.
No, it's using the material that's there.
It's dropping down on the list. Dropping down on the list.
Motherfucker, you can't make a bonfire, so don't start your shit.
I have a staff, and I can make a bonfire.
Aye, well, you're not attuned to it, so.
I can use this firewood.
So, Ban's End, first hour of the night, water running for the camp a little bit. Some of the tents are getting quite soaked, but inside they're still mostly dry. But for you, Van Zandt, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. This one. 24.
Okay. And your next hour, another con save, please.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, that's not 20, so that's 34.
Okay. And another one, please.
That's a lot. That's an 11, that's 25.
You're muscling through it, but you are cold at this point. And during your full fire, do you still continue outside?
Yeah, there's no other place to sleep, so yes.
Okay.
Can I use my telekinetic abilities to just make, like, he's got his big coat, just have it like hover above Vanzand,
You would
trying to give him
need
some shelter?
you would need to maintain that, and you would have to recast every time that spell expires.
It's not a spell. It's the feature, the feat that I have.
Which is
Okay,
Telekinetic.
telekinetic. It's using Mage Hand. Never mind. Yeah. The Mage Hand is invisible, but yeah.
make a new con save.
I was trying to be nice, but never mind.
25.
And your sixth.
I'm stiff. Always stiff.
I said and your sixth is the next one.
What?
Your next con save. You have to do one every hour.
Next.
6, not stiff.
That's a low roll. That's 23.
Okay, still weathering through it. Number 7.
Another nat 20, so that's 34.
Stop wasting your nat 20s on this.
I know.
Oh, he's got plus
Banzan's
14.
stubbornness to actually seek shelter.
But he's
No.
able to weather it. He's going to be great in extreme colds and extreme heats. Right now, he's in frigid water conditions, which is not going to be good when he starts failing his checks, because then they get really harder to maintain. And your 8th hour.
Ooh, that's 13 plus 14, 27.
You barely saved. Okay. Rain's still going, but everybody's can have a long rest. Vincent, you can have a long rest at this point as well,
Yeah.
but you are drenched.
Long rest. Long. Take a long rest. Nope. Soon tight.
Thank you.
Where is it? Nope.
And it
Oh, my
is
camera went AWOL.
a little morning.
Yep.
It's morning, but still quite early. But you guys are able to start waking up if you wish. The rain is still going.
Damn, that's a lot of rain. Could use some over
I
here.
think Mantra will open her eyes. She normally wakes up quite early.
Van Zandt, what's your passive perception?
Passive perception. 10.
10. Okay. Anybody who has woken up who has a passive perception of 20 or higher?
19.
Yeah.
Yeah,
23.
26.
Damn.
Are you waking up?
Yep.
Nope.
Okay, so it's still quite dark.
Mantra's not out of her tent. She just opened her eyes and started to listen.
Rain's still going. You think it might be still in the middle of the night. Alva, are you doing anything?
I've woken up and I'm starting to stretch and kind of open up the tent.
So as you open up the tent, your tent happens to be facing towards the lake, and you see the edge of the grove. There is a standing water forming and getting closer to the camp.
That's disconcerting.
The rain seems to be adding more and more water to it. It's slowly making its way.
Guys, everybody up. The camp's about to get flooded. Gotta relocate.
Did you see
Farragut.
your messages, Lima?
Oh my god.
Has someone had Dutch courage during the night?
Roll a D100 for me.
Who?
D100s?
Yep.
D100.
72.
Okay, I'll let you know later.
Okay. What would it have been if it was 3 lower?
It would have been 70.
What? That would have been
69.
2 lower.
It'd have been a funny number.
Funny number.
Oh god, hiccuping. Anybody else getting up or
Yes.
waking up or doing anything interesting?
Yep, I'm waking up.
Yeah, Farron's.
So as I said, Mantra opens her eyes and has a wee quick look around.
Yep, she's next to you. She's just sitting there.
And I'm slowly getting my armor back on.
I'll just go, oh sorry, did I pin you down?
Just gives you a stare.
She doesn't
Mantra's
seem-
fully dressed, by the way.
Yeah, so she.
She didn't strip down or anything. Yeah, so she, like, nothing would have happened in that regards. But
Mantra, can you also do
Yes, well?
a stealth check for me?
stealth check.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 25.
Okay. Good to know. So, yeah, she comes out and she looks out to the camp and sees herself as the rain's still going.
Yep.
Well, it is wet season, so
Mhm.
maybe
There's
30.
a relaxing
We got
white
about an hour.
noise.
It's relaxing, yes, but we're about to get
Oh, for that
we're about to
water.
get flooded, so we can't stay here long. Maybe about an hour before that starts hitting us. And she flicks a hand at the
Well,
soaking bonfire. All of a sudden, lights again, and you see a steam go shh off of it. And then she goes, "Anybody has control flames, make that stronger. And dry off the campfire back up." No one.
I'm checking my list.
Pretty sure I don't have
Yeah.
that.
What level's
we
control
don't
flame?
have it.
It's a cantrip.
I do. I shall use it. Just makes it a lot bigger.
At this point, the fire is bigger than the actual campfire itself. Still far enough away that it's not doing it, but it's definitely heating up, and you can see the steam billowing off of Van Zandt right now. Van Zandt, your body temperature is starting to raise, and you're no longer in requirement of doing con saves.
Oh yeah. Finally, some warmth.
You're an idiot. She looks at you, Van Zandt.
I'm also
I know.
gonna use prestidigitation on him to dry him up.
For visualization, just try to clear up.
Well,
You do
I'm
it a
going to
couple of
fold down my
times,
tent.
and then he's almost as wet as he was before.
I survived, didn't
But
I?
for the skin, you can see the skin on him is pale white.
Fanson, get closer to the fire.
And she moves behind you, and
Don't
she actually
forget.
gives you a shove towards the fire and goes, "Heat up. Van's paladin or not, you will die."
Be careful, I'm wearing plate.
No, you're not. You've not got it on yet.
Yes, I am.
You're just up.
He said he
Oh, well.
was starting to get it on.
Yep. I have my breeches on.
turns using his mage hand to dismantle the tent.
Do I
And
notice
she
that
turns
one?
around and then
Is it
faces
invisible mage hand or invisible?
north.
Invisible.
And you see entangled in two of the grasping vines, a Goliath. With one of the vines covering his mouth. He's holding a great axe that's frozen.
Look,
Anyone know this guy?
Arcadian armor.
isn't that our big boy
But,
friend?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if it's Niall. I'll cast message. Do we know you? I'm not close enough to see.
Get me the fuck out of this mantra.
Oh, cool. I'll walk over. Is it Niall?
You start to, as you get closer,
Does it look
and
like
the
him?
fog isn't quite obscuring him anymore. You can see him quite clearly.
Okay. So I'll say Mir next to him.
The
And see
vines
if it helps.
recoil from you, but the ones holding him remain in place.
And I'll keep approaching. And I'll say Mir.
Nothing happens. The ones holding him remains holding him. Yeah. Then all of a sudden,
Tell him to say Mir. Or
they
at least
release
attempt to.
slightly and recoil, and he thumps to the floor. Gets back up, and then he stands towering a little bit over you, and then he removes his helmet.
How'd you find us?
You were spotted in Ravenna, and this is the direction you were going. Give or take 2 days travel, you'll be here. I can't believe I missed you in Ravenna. I was on one of those ships. Hey, big man. Let's see what you, Van Zandt.
Hello.
Little one.
Are you hurt?
No, a little bit cold, but I'm made for this weather.
Seems like it.
We have a fire going. We don't have long before we have to leave. Don't know if you've noticed the water.
You need to be very careful, because are you heading... Where were you heading? They said you were heading towards Glanasari for Dosh, right?
Yes.
Pulls out a case
We're planning on going slightly
and
around
hands
the
you
south of
this
Dosh.
case, Mantra. Says, I need to get back. I was only given 2 days to get back before I'm deployed back to the parish front. Take this. Hands it to you.
What is it?
Map of areas controlled by the undead, as per last week.
Undead slapping time.
Oh, you came out here just to give us a map. Well, thank you, but... Any advice? You seem to have more up-to-date news.
Kill them. Whenever you see them, kill them. If they don't see you, use the element. Points towards you, Vincent. Take your armor off and wear something lighter. They will see
That's
you, and
not
you
going
will
to
be
happen.
a beacon. Shows the leather armor he's wearing and says, I used to wear plate. Can I tell you what happened? The
Go
group that
ahead.
was moving through Kolos City was wearing plate. One escaped who was one of the scouts who was on the roofs at the time. 400 undead converged on them within seconds.
Yeah, okay.
Only 3 of them managed to escape purely by running, and they dropped everything they were carrying to get out of there. was one of them. It's not just
Well,
people that they have.
probably.
It's also these things with teeth
Rem-
and eyes screaming.
Teeth and eyes. Hmm. Oh well. I'll manage.
Don't be fooled.
And I'll show him my boots. Look what I've got.
It's not just the movement, it's also the fact you can be seen. You're gonna have to dirty your armor. If you really want to wear it, you should
Hmm.
clad it down with leather. Probably not gonna find any blacksmith or leathersmith between here and there, but you may as well put that back in your bag and wear something different until you get to the other side. My advice from a friend.
Can also cast darkness on myself.
And
If
can you
it
see in
helps,
darkness?
Valentine's,
No, but my
I
pet
do
dragon can.
have some decent leather armor.
I'm not going to wear leather armor.
And I slightly reach into my bag and pull out leather +2.
I'll survive.
You sure? No need
Yep.
for this?
Oh,
Well, don't say I didn't offer you. You die again, it's on you.
I know.
How common are Goliaths here in the kind of general area?
This area, a little uncommon, but you know that they live in the mountains to the south of here. That's very common knowledge. There used to be a couple of villages in the south and also the north. Anywhere you see mountains, clouds are usually more common around them. In the lowlands where you are just now, you don't usually see them.
Farron just looks shocked to see a Goliath.
Why?
Just lean over and go, pick up your jaw. He's one of us.
You didn't
Okay.
look that shocked to see me.
No, he did.
I remember you were quite shocked, but oh yes, we picked up another straggler on the way. We tend to do
He's all
that.
skin and bones.
I'll give you that.
Well, he also doesn't really have much in the way of memory.
Probably hit his head.
He didn't know about the undead.
He must have really hit his head.
Yeah. That's what we were thinking. Or, well, my first thought was, I want what he's having. You know.
No, you don't. It's very inconvenient.
What do you mean? You seem somewhat deluded, and you end up having conversations with yourself.
She knows I'm here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, as I said, my first thought was, I'll have what he's having. Sounds interesting. And then I figured you probably just hit your head quite hard and you were being slightly deluded as opposed to taking any drugs.
He points to the map and he points to the map case and tells you Rouen is the last settlement and it'll be populated between here and there, so if you have any supplies you need to get, I would get your supplies from there. The town of Octon is abandoned. The town of the village of Braun is a ruin.
Okay.
So far, again,
Who's
taps
the
the
one you
map
said was the
case again.
last settlement?
Sorry? So go to
What did you
Rin
say was the
is the
last
last
settlement
settlement
that you
to
were in
have
again?
that you
Was
can
it
probably
Rin?
get supplies. It's the last one that's populated.
Rin.
The next one is Opton, which is which is abandoned now. At least supposed to be. And the village of Braun is a ruin.
Okay.
Okay. So we should head to Rin then.
That might be the best option.
Indeed.
And Rin doesn't have a blacksmith.
Probably does, but when nobody willing to work a job like that, it'll take more than a day. And besides, I think that anybody that's probably doing this special work will probably be making new weapons to kill that.
Oh well.
Uh,
Money will do the trick.
do me a favor. If you see either a dragon that doesn't look very healthy, or a very large beast, a massive creature, about the same size as a dragon, avoid it. Oh, and there is a lich in Call City.
Oh boy. A lich.
I mean, our current mission is to get Nice safely to the Valanasavi.
Indeed.
Engaging in large fiends would not guarantee her safety.
I
I
completely
know
agree.
you can hold
No.
your own, Nice, but yes. Let's not take unnecessary risks. We have armies to play the hero. Unfortunately for you, now, since it seems you're constantly on the front.
Mm-hmm.
243. Counting.
What's that? Your kills?
Give me count. I was third place and now first. Because the ones that were with me who were ahead are gone. They need to find a way to
So-
stop them. There's just more and more coming. And anything they kill, they raise. So every time we kill one of them, they just replace more of themselves with us.
Did we not have
F-
like a failsafe? Like if you fall and you can't be risen, then rather than getting raised, maybe something that will destroy the head or burn the body.
There's a cantrip, spare the dying, but there's not enough people to cast it. It doesn't work for that long. And they have the ability to remove it, apparently.
Well, crush the heads then. Problem solved.
That's a problem.
As much as it's not a glamorous thing,
That's the thing.
Or burn the bodies. Hmm.
That was one of the first things they tried. It did not stop them. In its torso, new eyes appeared.
decapitation.
Burn it with fire.
It helps for a bit. But there's not enough fire to burn them all. Just
Yeah,
As
do
decapitation then.
not do anything reckless. Be quiet. And if you decide to alert them, run and never stop running until you potentially lose them. But let me tell you this right now, if you do alert them, not all of you will be making it out.
Hmm. Oh, well.
What if we split up and follow different paths?
That's the problem. One mistake. You know how many we're missing? So far as I'm aware, the number's a bit vague. Arcadian troop-wise on the ground, 95,000 have gone in. We're down to 17. And that was this week alone. That was the reserves.
Hmm.
And that's 78,000 of them more. There's a rumor if you can kill the one behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as
Kill the head
aware,
of the snake
he's
and the
taken up
neutral guy.
residence in Bracken City.
Oh.
It has a female elf, lich, some highborn of Glanasari, possibly relative, not sure, that he raised a few months ago. And apparently Alaria is not doing so well themselves. Ever since they attacked front in the north, they managed to slay 2 dragons. But Alaria did everything they can. They sacrificed a lot of troops to make sure those bodies would not be able to be resurrected. 5 dragons are now falling. I hear when one of the dragons went down.
Catch up with Zolaria again?
North of Dosh. Other side of the desert.
You hear when one of the dragons went down?
Another dragon. Lightning. We've been told. I was at the briefing about it because we've been given a lot of information. Watch out for. If we see a dragon, then we just set ourselves on fire. As for the dragon that they took down, they sacrificed nearly 500 men just to get to that dragon to destroy it.
Valiant.
Those are dead people. A lot of them. Instead of raise a dragon, they did raise 500 new soldiers.
Better 500 soldiers than one dragon.
Problem is, this is one of the biggest horror stories.
I mean,
Some of those were
we might
paladins.
be inadvertently responsible.
I was there. Fucker teleported me away, remember? Banished me wherever he did. I remember. Echo
Yeah.
filled me in.
Yeah.
Where's Salaphanos? Sphere.
Still don't know. And again, we don't know about Fia. We heard Malone took Fia away. At least that's what they're gloating
The same one that dropped me from the sky.
about. But as for Salaphanos,
You do know what's happened to Salathanos because Tetsu found
that's what I'm
out.
saying. As for Salaphanos, we have heard that he's been slain.
Oh.
Something he couldn't regenerate.
Whistles, and he says, Mir. And then all of a sudden he sees horse. The same one you recognise that he brought to our Port Samir with him. And he says, I need to get to Ravenna. Good luck. That map is changing. It's not going to be entirely useful, but it will give you an idea of the more safer areas. But
Okay.
there's an area marked on the map that's supposed to be a safe haven that they've managed to build up. They've got a couple of clerics building a forbiddance area that's just basically eradicating the dead as it approaches. But it's not going to hold out for very long. Some tavern on the
Safe
east side.
havens tend to sound like areas to avoid because people start to grow complacent and they think that areas are safe. Yet
There's some kind of tavern on the east side of
more
Koloff.
and more undead would form around it. Yeah.
Some fire genasi.
Any idea what it's called?
I don't know the name of the place. I know who owns it, or runs it at least.
Me?
No. There's two people in there. That's the one that's been casting the forbidden spell every day, and there's another one. I just can't remember her name. They're both.
Okay.
Well, one is a girl. The other is let's just say they don't identify either.
Esseni?
Yes, it's any.
Esseni Galadriel?
Something like that. I know it's a
Fire Genasi.
possibly fire genasi.
If anyone's watching, Mantra suddenly got a big smile on her face.
But the last time
They're
we heard,
alive.
last time there was information about them was before the undead cut us off from the eastern side. I would see the area that's marked in red.
So
Expect heavy numbers of undead, and at least 1 million.
hang on. The cleric. Was it Tilia?
I don't know. Some elf. Not sure. I don't know her name.
High elf. Tilia.
Possibly. I've not met her. I don't know who it is. I just hear this elf and this fire thing sorcerer that's being set up a refuge.
If
And
it's,
he's
if
trying
it's
to get
who I
people out.
think it was, she used to always make sure people made it home. Yeah. If
But
it's who
right
I
now,
think it
she's the only
was, she
thing
used to
that's.
always make sure people made it home after having a few.
I think she's the only person that's keeping those people alive. But if I'm not mistaken, that spell forbidden didn't. If I'm not wrong, it takes time to cast it and maintain it. And if something happens to her, one stray arrow, one dragon gets into there and blasts her, they're dead. But again, as I said, there's been no contact from them for about over a month. Repeat this to
It's
no one.
on route. We're going to go there. Repeat what? To no one.
This is not public knowledge. None of this stuff is given you. It's classified. I know you work in partnership
The
with
map
the
or
guy. All of it. It's bad.
okay.
There are people within DOS declaring DOS has fallen.
Well,
And the orcs and the wolf pack clan,
okay.
the ones that were recently at war with Arcadia, have begun retreating to the mountains. And as far as we're aware, the vine wall, so the vine gate has been sealed. The elves are not allowing anyone near. They're killing anybody that approaches.
We'll see about that.
Well, there's probably a secret way in that Mace knows of.
Mm-hmm.
But Sorry to add a detour, but that tavern that was spoken of, if it still stands, I would very much like to go there en route.
I recommend being careful in the city itself. As I said, there's at least 1 million, not even exaggerating the number, in a city looking for more to add to its army. And we don't know where it's going to go. It's going to go to Glasani, if it's going to go for the wolf pack, or if it's going to go towards here, for the gathering.
Well, at least we're just a small group. I'm sure if we were tons, then we wouldn't be as
You're from Call Off, aren't you?
skilled in arms as we are currently.
You're from Call Off, aren't you?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
go through the vaults. The access to the vaults is in the city centre, so you still need to try and find your way in. But I'll get you to the east side, and if I'm not mistaken, that's quite close to, that's about a mile away from that tavern.
Slightly planned, but yes.
And looks at the cart and says, "That's not going to do any good, son. You could probably get to the next town or the town after that.
Yeah.
But then at that point, I would send those horses away. So send them in the direction of Dosh. Send them away.
Well, hopefully it'll take us to Ren.
I'll take them all the way to Alton, or at least near Alton, and then send them back. Give them to somebody in Rin that they can use to evacuate. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do something like that.
We might be able to rely on Van Zan's steed slightly more, because it is a magical steed as opposed
It's
to a
not
horse.
to do with that. I would even bother with the steed. Travel on foot, road or forest, it doesn't matter. Neither
Just
are
to avoid
safe.
detection then.
Basically, from what I understand, the undead do not discriminate path to forest. And it's always better to see them before they see you.
Path it is then.
Path doesn't provide you a lot of cover. Cover will be best,
It's less
Okay.
like
but it makes it
less
harder for you to
likely
find
to be
them.
ambushed. But yes.
Sorry I wasn't there.
Once we start seeing a what happens?
Sorry I wasn't there, and I didn't get to return in time to help you finish our mission.
Did you hear about Tetsu?
No, won't be back until this is done.
You want to do the honours of telling him mantra?
Is he dead?
Not quite.
He's
Wait,
back
Echo told me
as
Goblin,
a
right?
goblin. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew about that. I got told that a couple of days ago. Echo told me when he was heading towards Cobbledore.
I wonder if he did start setting up my tavern. I asked him to try and manage a second tavern. Because I gathered, well, trying to be realistic, my other tavern that I left in charge of Asani for now might
Give him a
be
chance.
struggling.
We've only just left.
Yeah. Well, my main tavern's the one that I had entrusted. I mean, Insani's only helping with the books.
I must have leave.
Yes.
I need to get back. Otherwise I'll miss my ship. And in this current climate, I've seen deserters beheaded.
That's stupid.
Well, yeah, I gotta go.
Mm.
My ship leaves tomorrow morning.
Well, bye then, and
Okay.
thanks for the information.
Always.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.
Not to you all. And before he leaves, he looks at you all. Go. Stay alive.
Oh, I will.
Protect them. Protect
Like
them.
always.
He died yesterday.
Good
He's
death.
a new guy. Yeah.
Didn't die well.
No. He tried.
He steps up, on legs over onto the horse, doesn't even use the reins. He pulls himself up. Moves through the gap. Well, we'll call it there. No more overtime than I wanted, but that's fine. So join us next week for more Dungeons & Dragons at 8 PM, and I'll hopefully have my house back in order finally. Floor's going down on Wednesday. It's been delayed, but it's starting to feel a bit normal. I am exhausted. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Night out.
Bye bye.
Good night.